Success leaves clues. That idea gets repeated so often because in many cases it is true. When you look at the habits of billionaires across industries, technology, finance, manufacturing, media, one pattern shows up again and again. They read. A lot. Not just for entertainment, but to sharpen how they think, decide, and lead. This article is not a generic reading list. It focuses on 3 books that consistently appear in interviews, biographies, and recommended reading lists of billionaires. These books are not about shortcuts or hype. They shape mental models. They change how readers approach risk, effort, and long-term growth. You do not need to be a billionaire to benefit from them. What matters is how you read them and what you apply. Below are the top 3 books billionaires read for success, why they matter, and what lessons they quietly teach. 1. The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. If there is one book that comes closest to being sacred in the billionaire world, this is it. Warren Buffett has famously called The Intelligent Investor the best book on investing ever written. He first read it as a teenager and credits it with shaping his entire philosophy. Many other billionaire investors, from hedge fund managers to tech founders who later became investors, point back to this book as a foundation. What the book is really about. At face value, The Intelligent Investor is about investing in stocks. But that description misses the deeper point. The book is about decision-making under uncertainty. Benjamin Graham teaches readers how to think rationally when others are emotional. He explains how markets swing between optimism and panic, and how intelligent investors avoid being pulled along by either extreme. The core idea is simple but demanding. Treat investing as ownership of real businesses, not as speculation. Focus on value, not excitement. Why billionaires keep recommending it. Billionaires tend to operate on long-time horizons. They are not trying to win today's headline. They are trying to compound results over decades. This book reinforces that mindset. It also introduces the famous concept of Mr. Market, a fictional character who offers to buy or sell stocks every day at wildly different prices depending on his mood. The lesson is powerful. You are not required to agree with the market. You are allowed to wait. That patience shows up in how many billionaires run their companies as well. They resist pressure to chase trends. They focus on fundamentals, lessons you can apply immediately. You do not need to buy stocks to benefit from this book. The thinking applies to many areas of life. First, separate price from value. Whether you are evaluating a business idea, a career move, or even a relationship, ask what it is truly worth, not how popular it looks right now. Second, build a margin of safety. Billionaires do not assume everything will go right. They plan for mistakes, delays, and bad luck. That cushion is often what keeps them standing when others fall. Third, control your emotions. Most bad decisions are not caused by lack of intelligence. They come from fear, greed, or impatience. This book trains you to notice those impulses and slow down. Why this book endures? The Intelligent Investor was first published in 1949, yet it remains relevant. That alone should tell you something. Trends change, human behavior does not. Billionaires value ideas that last. This book has. 2. Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. Many billionaires are not just wealthy, they are deeply curious about how the mind works. That curiosity often leads them to psychology, and this book sits at the top of that category. Daniel Kahneman, a Nobel Prize-winning psychologist, spent decades studying how people think and make decisions. Thinking Fast and Slow is the summary of that life's work. The 2 systems of thinking. The book introduces 2 modes of thought. System 1 is fast, automatic, and emotional. It helps you react quickly, recognize patterns, and make snap judgments. System 2 is slow, deliberate, and logical. It handles complex reasoning, planning, and careful analysis. Both systems are useful. The problem is that people often rely too much on System 1 when System 2 is needed. Why this book matters to billionaires. High-level success often depends on avoiding obvious mistakes rather than making flashy moves. Billionaires understand that their own brains can betray them. This book exposes common cognitive biases, confirmation bias, overconfidence, loss aversion, that distort judgment. Once you see these patterns, you start noticing them everywhere. In meetings, negotiations, investments, and personal choices. Many billionaires use this awareness as a defensive advantage. They design systems, checklists, and decision rules to reduce the impact of bias. Practical takeaways. One of the most important lessons is that confidence does not equal accuracy. People who sound sure are often wrong. Billionaires learn to question certainty, including their own. Another lesson is to slow down when stakes are high. Big decisions deserve System 2 thinking, even if it feels uncomfortable or tedious. The book also encourages thinking in probabilities instead of absolutes. Instead of asking, will this work or fail, ask, what is the likelihood and what happens if I'm wrong? A quiet competitive edge. Most people never study how their minds work. Billionaires who do gain a subtle but powerful edge. They are not smarter by default, but they are more aware of their blind spots. Thinking fast and slow does not promise success. It reduces self-sabotage. That alone can be transformative. 3. The Almanac of Naval Ravikant by Eric Jorgensen. This is the newest book on the list and the least traditional. Yet it has spread rapidly among entrepreneurs, investors, and modern billionaires. The book is a curated collection of ideas, tweets, interviews, and essays from Naval Ravikant, an investor, founder, and thinker known for his clear, first principles approach to wealth and happiness. Why billionaires pay attention to Naval Ravikant. Naval speaks directly about leverage, judgment, and long-term thinking, topics billionaires care deeply about. He emphasizes that wealth is not just about hard work. It is about working on the right things with the right people at the right scale. This resonates strongly in a world where technology allows small teams to create massive impact. Core ideas from the book. One major theme is leverage. Naval breaks it down into 4 types: labor, capital, code, and media. The last 2, code and media, are permissionless. You do not need anyone's approval to use them. Many modern billionaires built their fortunes using these forms of leverage. Software, platforms, content, and networks allow effort to compound far beyond hours worked. Another key idea is judgment. Naval argues that clear thinking is the most valuable skill. With good judgment, even bad luck can be corrected over time. Without it, no amount of effort helps. The book also challenges conventional definitions of success. It ties wealth and happiness together, suggesting that the ultimate goal is freedom, not status. Why this book feels different. Unlike traditional business books, the Almanac is not linear. It reads more like a manual for thinking. Billionaires often reread sections rather than cover to cover. The ideas are meant to be reflected on, not rushed through. It also encourages responsibility. Naval repeatedly emphasizes that no one is coming to save you. That message appeals to people who build rather than wait. Applying the lessons. Ask yourself where leverage exists in your life. Are you trading time for money, or are you building something that can scale? Examine your inputs. Naval stresses the importance of reading, learning, and choosing environments carefully. What you consume shapes how you think. Finally, redefine success for yourself. Many billionaires appreciate this book because it separates wealth from ego. It reminds them why they started in the first place. Why these 3 books stand out. There are thousands of books about success. Most fade quickly. These 3 endure because they operate at a deeper level. They do not tell you what to think. They teach you how to think. The intelligent investor builds patience and discipline. Thinking fast and slow builds self-awareness and caution. The Almanac of Naval Ravikant builds clarity and leverage. Together they form a powerful mental toolkit. How billionaires actually read. One important point often missed is that billionaires do not read passively. They reread, they take notes, they argue with the author. They test ideas in real life. Reading for success is not about volume, it is about extraction. What insight can you pull from this page and apply tomorrow? Many billionaires also read across disciplines. Finance, psychology, philosophy, history, and science all feed into better decisions. These 3 books reflect that range. You do not need to copy a billionaire's life to learn from their bookshelf. What matters is adopting the principles behind their choices. Read to improve judgment, not to feel productive. Read to understand yourself, not just the market. Read to build something that lasts. The books billionaires return to again and again are rarely flashy. They are thoughtful, demanding, and honest. If you give them time, they will repay you many times over. Success rarely comes from one idea. It comes from stacking small advantages over time. These books are a strong place to start. If this video helped you think differently about money, success, or building real wealth, you're in the right place. Legacy finance is about long-term thinking. No hype, no shortcuts. Just timeless principles used by the world's most successful investors, entrepreneurs, and billionaires. Subscribe for videos on wealth building, mindset, investing, and financial freedom. Like the video to support the channel. Comment below with your biggest takeaway or what topic you want next. Remember, money is a tool, but legacy is the goal. See you in the next one.